Hi, this is Peter Zamaya with No Option Antics, and what we'll be discussing today are the order types, the different types of orders that you can place for your trades. Now, these are by no means a complete list, but this will give you a good idea of the ways that you can enter your particular trades, not the strategies themselves. So let's take a look at some of the most popular types of option trades that can be placed, or the order types that can be placed. One order type is known as the day order. And we're going to go through these one by one as we look at them. We've got the day order, we've got something called a good till canceled order. They also refer to this as just a GTC. You've got the contingent orders, market orders, limit orders, stop limit orders, trailing stop orders, and trailing stop limit orders. So let's take a look and examine these one by one and explain what they are. What the day order represents is when you enter your order, it's good for that particular day. One way or the other, it's either going to get filled for that day and you're going to have the trade in your account, or it's just going to be canceled for that particular day. I prefer to use these on my entry orders, meaning when I'm entering a position, I like to use a day order because if I don't get filled, I can make a decision later to decide if I want to get in again or try to put the order in again. This is the most popular type of order. Most brokers kind of default to this type of order when you're placing your order initially. Another type of order that's available is something called a good till cancel order, the GTC. Now the way the GTC operates is this order will remain in place until your order is filled. So for example, if you wanted to buy a $50 call and you wanted to buy it for $2, and if it didn't get filled at $2 the first day, the order would be there the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Some brokers will have a time limit for a good till cancel. Even though it says good till cancel, they may have it for a period of time, so it's always best to check with your broker to see what their limit is for the good to cancel order to be in place. These are the type of orders that I like to use for exiting a position. If you want to fill at a specific price, you put the order in, you let it fill at that particular price. As I said, I like to use these for an exit order for the simple fact that I don't have to watch the market all the time if I want to get out at a certain price, whereas I use the day order to enter my trades. Another type of order is a contingent order. And a contingent order that's enabled or it's enacted when a certain type of criteria is met. So some example is that, if my stock goes to $50, I want to buy 100 shares. So it would be contingent upon the stock being at 50 for the shares to go in. Or you could say that if my stock goes to $50, I want to buy the $50 call for January. So what it does is it initiates the option buying order when the stock hits a particular price. So here's another way to do it. I could sell an order or sell a trade if a stock goes to a particular point as well. So it's contingent upon something else happening for your order to be triggered. Another type of order is a market order. Now, I would warn people about market orders in that the way that a market order is enacted is that when you place an order, you say, okay, let's say I want to buy IBM. You basically tell them, I want to buy IBM. You didn't fill in a price. You've written a blank check when you've written a market order. So I particularly don't care to use market orders. I like to use what are called limit orders, which we'll talk about soon. So this could be good or bad depending on what the stock is doing, but it really doesn't give you any control over the price that you're filled at. This order guarantees the worst possible price. That's what a market order really does for you. The limit order, which I prefer to enter my trades as, allows me to place the order at a particular price. So if I wanted to buy something at $100, I'm going to buy it at $100. Whenever you place a limit order, it's going to be at the price you've placed or better automatically. Your broker is required to give you the best available price, but if you set your limit at $100 to buy a stock, they cannot fill the order for more than $100. They can always fill it for less if that price is available, but not more. The stop order. Stop order allows you to exit a position at a particular price. So you place this order, it triggers the order as a market order to sell. So an example is, if my option gets to $2 per share, sell it at the market. So what happens is the order would be triggered when the option hit $2. Now, for a stop order, what can happen is something can gap against you. If one day the option is trading at $3 and the next morning it gaps down to $1, your stop order would be triggered, but you would be out at $1. The other type of order is something called the stop limit order, whereas it operates just like a stop order, where you're going to try to get out at a particular price. The problem is that if the stock gaps against you, or the option gaps against you, what's going to happen is that the order will be triggered, but it will not be filled until the trade gets back to the price you want. So for an example here, I have a stop limit order of $2. All right. So if the stock or if the option drops below $2, what's going to happen is an order is going to be sent to the market, and I'll have to wait until the option gets back up to $2 to get filled. If it drops down to $1.90 and keeps going down from that point, this order will never be filled. There are also orders called trailing stop orders. And the way a trailing stop order is used, this is used to lock in profits and let your winners continue to run. So it operates as a floor price. So you could say that, hey, I've got an option that's worth $2, and I'm going to put a trailing stop that is $1 behind where that option price is trailing. So if the option dropped down to $1, then I would get out of the trade. But if the option continued to rise in value, my floor or my trailing stop will continue to rise behind it $1. So example, if the option went to $3, now my trailing stop would be set at $2. Again, it would be $1 behind where the option is currently trading. So here, if the option goes to $2.50, my trailing stop would be at $1.50. Again, $1 behind where the option is currently trading. If the option went up to $3, again, as our example has shown before, my floor is going to keep getting raised to keep locking in profits as the option is going up. The other type of order is a trailing stop limit order. And like the limit type order with the stop order, this is going to be working at that limit. So if something gaps against you, what's going to happen is that the stop limit order is going to be triggered but not filled until the option gets back to your price. Again, the disadvantage behind this is that if the option continues to go against you, you will never be filled with those particular trades. So those are the different types of orders that can be placed. By no means are these the strategies. We are going to talk about strategies in another section. So for those of you wanting more information and more education, visit us at www.nooptionantics.com. If you have questions, contact us at info@nooptionantics.com. This is Peter Zamaya saying thank you and hope to see you soon.